There was a beautiful young girl called Abina in a village called Obasi in Africa. Obasi is a very beautiful village where the rhythms of nature harmonized with the pulse of life. Obasi is ruled by the benevolent king, King Kojo, and his gracious wife, Queen Bako. They both have a son named Prince Charles. Prince Charles was the apple of their eyes, a beacon of hope for the future. King Kojo was a very wealthy king, and he reigned in his time. Abina is a very beautiful young girl. Abina's beauty was as radiant as the sun that kissed the earth each morning, and her spirit as free as the winds that danced through the trees. She was the jewel of her family. She was raised by her both parents. She called her mother Nene, and she called her father Papa. Abina grew up with her two elder brothers, Kwame and Kwasi, who are twins. The brothers loved her so much that they protected her from any harm. Nobody dared look for her trouble in that village because of her brothers. They went with her everywhere she went to. But not knowing to Abina and her parents, Abina had the destiny of a queen. As Abina blossomed into womanhood, her grace and charm captured the attention of all who beheld her. She was now taken into the palace to work as a palace maid, where she made a friend called Amma, and they worked in the palace as palace maids. Abina and Amma were very close to each other, and they served together in the palace. Abina, do you ever dream of what lies beyond these palace walls? Amma asked one evening, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Abina replied, sometimes, Amma, but my heart will always belong to Obasi, to the ones I love. Everyone in the palace admired Abina's hard work, and the queen, Queen Bako, liked her so much that the queen made Abina her personal maid. Abina captured the attention of Queen Bako, who saw in her a kindred spirit and took her under her wing. Abina, my dear, you have a gentle spirit and a kind heart, the queen would often say as they shared quiet moments in her chambers. You are destined for greatness, my child. Mark my words. Once in a while, Abina visits her parents' house because she misses her brothers a lot and she loves to eat her mother's food. Although they live far away from the palace, but Abina didn't mind. She would always go and visit. Abina was so beautiful and hardworking that all the young men of the village wanted to marry her, but she never accepted. Abina's friend Amma began to get jealous of Abina because she didn't get as much attention as Abina. Before Abina came to the palace, Amma has always liked the prince, Prince Charles, but the prince always ignored Amma. Amma tried several ways to get the prince's attention, but Prince Charles never liked her. So as days go by, Abina's beauty began to capture the prince's attention. The prince was so amazed by Abina's hard work and good character. Abina, do you not see the prince's gaze upon you? You are but a humble maiden, yet you captivate him so, Amma whispered one afternoon as they toyed in the palace gardens. The prince's kindness knows no bounds. It is merely his benevolence shining upon me, Abina replied with humility. But as the days unfolded like the petals of a blooming flower, Prince Charles' admiration for Abina bloomed into a love that transcended the boundaries of station and status. Fair Abina, will you not grant me but a moment of your time? Prince Charles asked Abina one evening, his heart laid bare before her. Abina answered, Your Highness, I am but a servant, unworthy of such noble affection. Abina demurred, her cheeks flushed with uncertainty. Yet, despite Abina's protestations, the prince's ardor burned bright, igniting a flame of forbidding passion between them. Abina, my heart knows no peace without you by my side. Will you not consider my love? Prince Charles implored, his gaze filled with longing. Forgive me, Your Highness, but my heart knows not the path of royalty, Abina confessed, her eyes shimmering with hushed tears. Unknowing to Abina, Amma's jealousy festered like a wound, untreated. Her envy poisoning the will of their friendship with deceit. Abina, you know not the desires of a true heart. The prince is mine by right, yet you seek to steal him away with your charm. Amma hissed, her words laced with venom. Amma, you misunderstand. The prince's affection is but a fleeting dream, one I dare not grasp. Abina protested, her heart heavy with sorrow. Abina later accepted the prince and they began to spend time together. But Abina is scared because she doesn't know if the king and the queen will approve of their love. So Abina asked the prince to get her parents' permission first before she could fully accept his request. So Prince Charles spoke to his mother about his love for Abina, and his mother, the queen, approved their love because she liked Abina. The prince now went to tell his father, the king, but the king rebuked him and did not approve. His reason being that the girl came from a poor background and she's just a common maid. The prince was very bitter, but him and Abina decided to date secretly, hoping that the queen would be able to convince the king. The queen tried convincing the king, but he still never agreed. But Prince Charles and Abina still kept it secret. So Amma found out about the prince and Abina, and she got angry. She became angry that not only has Abina been the only one getting all the attention from men, but now Abina took the prince from her. So Amma decided to frame her up with stealing, so they'll punish her because it is an abomination to steal from the palace. One night, as the moon glows upon the palace grounds, Amma seized upon a chance, planting the seeds of deception within Abina's path. She stole a precious artifact belonging to the queen, placing it within Abina's possession as evidence of her guilt. When it was morning, they began to look for what Amma stole. They searched everywhere but couldn't find it. Then Amma went to search Abina's bag and brought out the stolen treasure. And immediately everyone was broken. Chaos erupted within the palace as Queen Bako discovered her missing treasure. And all eyes turned to Abina, whose innocence stood as a fragile shield against the storm of suspicion. "It wasn't me, Your Majesty," Abina pleaded, her voice trembling with emotions. "I swear upon the gods, I am innocent, Your Majesty." But the queen's trust had been shaken, and without proof to absolve her of wrongdoing. The prince came out of his chambers and realized what has happened, and he was heartbroken. But he was still doubting that Abina did it. He asked Abina, but Abina said she didn't do it. The prince became shattered because he didn't know what to believe anymore. Now the king ordered his guards to arrest Abina to prepare her for persecution because it was an abomination to steal from the palace. Abina's parents began to beg the king, but the king refused because a king cannot break his laws. The prince, Prince Charles, joined in begging the king, but the king refused. It was at this moment that the king found out that the prince went ahead with his relationship with Abina even after the king rebuked it. The king became more angry and ordered that Abina be thrown into the pit. The king had a deep pit where they kept wild animals that eat humans. He uses it to give death punishment, so Abina was thrown into the pit. Heartbroken and betrayed, Abina's family wept as they watched their beloved daughter descend into the darkness of the pit. Nene clutched Papa's hands tightly, her tears mingling with his, as they prayed for a miracle for the gods to spare their precious child from a fate too cruel to bear. Little did they know that the wild beast did not consume Abina. The gods of the village protected Abina because she was destined to be the queen of the village. Abina was in the pit, but not dead. Her mother stayed close to the pit and wept, but her husband took her home because they didn't hear any sound, so they believed that she had died. Abina was in the pit with the wild animals for 3 days. No water, no food, but she didn't die. On the 3rd day, the Prince Charles, became heavily sick that he couldn't get up from the bed. And the whole palace was not at rest. So the king sent for the chief priest to come and find out what had befallen the prince. The chief priest got to the palace and began to consult the gods of the village. The chief priest began to do some incantations, and the ghost spoke to him. Immediately, the chief priest shouted in exclamation and said that the king had committed the biggest abomination of their village. He also said to them that the girl they threw into the pit is the girl that was chosen by the gods to be the wife of the prince. And immediately, everyone was quiet, with regret on everyone's face, and the king began to weep. The chief priest began to speak again, that the girl is not dead, that she was still alive in the pit. And the king marveled at how she is still alive. The priest now told them that the gods had preserved her life because of her destiny. The gods have spoken, the chief priest declared, his voice carrying the weight of truth. They have revealed the true perpetrator of this crime, and it is not Abina who stands accused. With a heavy heart and trembling hands, the king ordered that Abina is retrieved from the pit and that Amma be thrown into the pit. As the villagers gathered around the mouth of the pit, their prayers mingled with the rising sun, a chorus of hope and redemption. Abina was brought out of the pit with a ladder, her spirit unbroken and unwavering. The villagers gasped in awe and wonder, for they had witnessed a miracle beyond comprehension. With tears of joy streaming down her cheeks, Nene embraced her daughter, her heart overflowing with gratitude and relief. Papa stood by her side, his eyes shining with pride and love as he beheld the strength of his family's bond. And as for Prince Charles, his eyes met Abina's with a newfound clarity. His heart lay bare before her in silent apology and unspoken devotion. In that moment, amidst the chaos and the glamour of the crowd, their love was reborn like a flower in the desert, blossoming anew with each passing breath.